Let's dive right in. What do Canada, Mexico, and the United States have in common in 2026? They're all playing host to the world's biggest soccer tournament, the FIFA World Cup.
Hi, I'm Leah, feeling pretty energized today and excited to dive into this fascinating topic.
And I'm Garrett, can't wait to explore this topic with you. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
Let's set the scene for this one. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is coming to North America, and it's a first in history with 3 host nations sharing the stage.
Yeah, and it runs June to July 2026 with more teams than ever before. That's pretty cool, right?
Okay, here we go, from the top. I once went to a World Cup match a few years back. I won't forget the noise rolling in waves, the flags, the spontaneous friendships in the stands. I met a family who had saved up for years to make that one game happen. It felt like a moving, singing geography lesson. Strangers teaching each other chants. Someone pressed a tiny paper flag into my hand. I kept it like a concert ticket stub. That day flipped a switch for me about global events. It wasn't just a match, it was culture in stereo. And thinking about 2026, spread across Canada, Mexico, and the United States, I can almost feel that same electric current rippling through 3 countries at once. The idea that millions of fans will stitch their own little stories into this giant tapestry, from Toronto to Mexico City to Seattle, gives me chills in the best way.
Same here. You can almost hear the chants already. And with 16 host cities lined up, those little stories are going to be everywhere. Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Guadalajara, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Mexico City, Miami, Monterrey, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, the Bay Area, Seattle, Toronto, and Vancouver. Wild how that works out across a whole continent.
Let's unpack this. The 2026 World Cup is the 23rd edition, back in the traditional Northern Hemisphere summer window. And here's the big structural shift: 48 teams. That's up from the 32-team setup we knew from 1998 through 2022.
Format-wise, it's 12 groups of 4. The top 2 from each group move on, plus the 8 best third-place teams. That sets up a brand new round of 32. In plain terms, more soccer, more knockouts, and more pathways for teams that used to miss out.
And co-hosting means 3 countries share venues and logistics. Co-hosting, just to define it, is when multiple nations jointly stage the tournament. It was discouraged after 2002, but brought back for 2026 on a case-by-case basis. The idea is to lean on existing big stadiums and share costs and benefits.
It also means 104 total matches over 39 days, with careful scheduling to protect rest and recovery. The final lands at the New York, New Jersey Stadium, the clean venue name for MetLife, and the U.S. men's team opens in Los Angeles. I'm down for that big coast energy.
Beginning with a little history. Mexico's getting a milestone. First country ever to host or co-host 3 times after 1970 and 1986. Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, that iconic stadium where Pelé and Maradona wrote chapters, is the only 2026 venue that's hosted World Cup matches before.
And the United States hosted in 1994, setting huge attendance records. But fun twist, none of those 94 stadiums are being reused in 2026. Same metros sometimes, but different and updated venues that fit modern specs. Sightlines, broadcast facilities, accessibility, the whole 9 yards.
Plus, remember 2002 in Japan and South Korea. That was the last co-hosted World Cup before now. The logistics were complex back then, but it showed the benefits of sharing the load. FIFA later adjusted the rules to allow co-hosting again in 2016 for this cycle.
The North American bid, called United 2026, dropped in 2017. They pitched the existing big venues, transit networks, and a major commercial upside. In 2018, at the FIFA Congress, which is the big global meeting of soccer federations, that bid won the vote 134-65 over Morocco. That's a decisive margin.
And part of the early context was that Europe and Asia had just hosted in 2018 and 2022, so they were out of the running under rotation rules. That cleared a path for North America to step up with a high-capacity, multi-country plan.
What stands out to me is legacy. Mexico taps into that Azteca history. The U.S. returns with a fresh stadium slate, and Canada hosts a Men's World Cup for the first time. 3 different arcs converging on a single tournament. That's a story worth telling.
Okay, let's move on. The challenges are real when you spread a tournament across a continent. Travel distances can balloon, so FIFA's clustering matches regionally to keep teams from crisscrossing endlessly. That reduces fatigue and helps with fan travel too.
Stadiums are a puzzle. Many are NFL or CFL buildings retrofitted for soccer. 4 have retractable roofs or are indoors with climate control. That's great for comfort, but it means sunlight is limited for grass. So turf teams are running advanced grow light and schedule protocols to keep pitches healthy.
And 8 of the 16 will convert from artificial turf to natural grass because Men's World Cups require grass. Okay? There's a research-led program with the University of Tennessee and Michigan State University standardizing the fields. Cooler cities get Kentucky bluegrass with a ryegrass mix. Warmer cities get Bermuda grass. Translation, they're engineering consistency, so the ball and footing feel the same from Seattle to Mexico City.
BMO Field in Toronto gets a temporary expansion to top 40,000 seats. Temporary structures go up for the tournament, then scale back after. That's a flexible legacy move. Maximize the moment without overbuilding permanently.
There are off-the-field logistics, too. Visas and immigration in the U.S. have been called out as a concern, especially for fans and some support staff. FIFA typically secures government guarantees for accredited participants, which helps teams and officials, but ordinary travelers still navigate normal processes. It's one of those practical threads to watch without getting alarmist.
And then there's ticketing. FIFA's dynamic pricing, which means prices adjust with demand like airline seats, draws heat for affordability worries. Supporters argue it funds massive operations. Critics worry about regular fans getting priced out. I get both sides. It's a tough balance.
On the field, more teams means more stories. Cape Verde, Curacao, Jordan, and Uzbekistan are set for their first World Cup appearances. That's huge for representation. New flags, new anthems, new heroes for kids to look up to.
And with 104 matches, semi-finalists could play up to 8 games instead of 7. The event spans 39 days to keep rest built in, and FIFA's aligning the overall player release window to match past cycles so clubs and national teams can coexist without too much friction. Yeah, that checks out calendar-wise.
Speaking of which, why add anti-time wasting measures now? Because more matches mean fatigue is a bigger concern. The rules aim to protect actual playing time without bloating stoppage time. So substitutions get a 10-second limit before the replacement has to wait a minute. And in time-wasting contexts, restarts get a visible 5-second countdown. Fail to take it, and possession flips.
Right? And there's the 1-minute off-field requirement after on-pitch treatment. That discourages theatrics, gives medics a moment to assess, and nudges teams to keep the game flowing. Pair that with expanded VAR, the video assistant referee system to fix clear and obvious mistakes, now covering things like second yellow cards and wrongly awarded corners, and you've got a toolkit aimed at both fairness and rhythm.
And here's a surprising one: red cards for covering your mouth when confronting an opponent. The goal is to deter abusive or threatening language that hides from lip reading. Can you believe that's even a thing? It's unusual, but it targets flashpoint behavior we all see in heated moments.
Technology under the hood is just as interesting. Those custom grass systems, standardized sand bases, grow lights under roofs, and careful roof open schedules, that's horticulture meeting high performance. It's like a backstage crew tuning the stage so the actors can nail their lines.
One more odd but true element: clean venue naming during the tournament. That means title sponsor names on stadiums are covered or swapped out for generic event names, like New York, New Jersey Stadium for MetLife. This centralizes sponsor visibility with FIFA's partners for a few weeks. Why do that? To keep commercial rights consistent globally, even if local naming deals exist.
And only Mexico City, among the 3 national capitals, is hosting. Ottawa and Washington, D.C. didn't make the cut. Ottawa's stadium capacity fell short, and D.C.'s joint plan with Baltimore didn't get selected. It's a venue-first logic. Capacity, transport, and pitch operability trump symbolism.
Time for a big question. Expansion to 48 teams. Does it dilute match quality or enhance global inclusion? Real talk, I see the upsides. More confederations represented. Confederations are the regional governing bodies like CONMEBOL in South America or CONCACAF in North and Central America. Means broader pathways for countries that used to sit just outside the bubble. New debuts can spark youth investment and bring diaspora communities into the stadiums with pride you can feel in your bones.
I'm kind of on the fence. I love inclusion, not gonna lie, but I worry about mismatches and the grind. An extra knockout round is one more high-intensity game. Teams could feel it by the quarters, and broadcasters get more inventory, sure, but do we get more drama or just more minutes on legs?
That's fair. But consider the format tweak that kept 4-team groups. Simultaneous final group matches reduce the chance of collusion, which is when 2 teams might game the final result to both advance. They leaned on academic analysis and federation feedback to ditch the old 3-team idea. So integrity got a boost, and that helps quality overall.
True, going back to 4-team groups was a smart correction. And the calendar protection helps too. They've kept that standardized 56-day release and rest window like past cycles. I guess my question is, will the round of 32 produce enough tightly matched games to justify the bigger bracket? Or will we see lopsided scorelines early on?
We might get a few uneven matches, but new nations often rise faster than expected. And the social return, kids seeing their flag at a World Cup, can shift a generation. I'll trade a couple of one-sided group games for the long-term growth story and the fresh narratives that keep pulling new fans in.
That's a solid point. Bigger tent, more voices. Maybe the puzzle is making sure player welfare stays front and center while the tent gets bigger. If the anti-time wasting rules and recovery windows do their job, I could get behind that idea.
Pop culture moment. Wouldn't it be great if we got a blockbuster about the 2026 World Cup, following a grounds crew at a roofed stadium racing grow light cycles, a rookie from a debut nation calling home after a win, and a pair of superfans crossing borders by train and car? Iconic stadium shots, Azteca's roar, and that final in New York, New Jersey stadium under summer skies. I can see the trailer already.
Okay, counterfactual corner. What if FIFA had kept the 3-team groups? One proposal floating around was mandatory penalty shootouts in group stages to avoid draws. That would have been chaotic in a good way for drama, and maybe chaotic in a bad way for fairness.
Tactically, coaches might have parked the bus, which means defend ultra deep, aiming to get to a shootout where variance is higher. Psychology swings harder when every draw becomes a shootout. Golden for TV, but teams could have gamed scenarios after seeing earlier results, which is exactly the collusion risk analysis pointed out.
And imagine the load on keepers. Training would have skewed even more to penalties. The narrative would tilt too. You'd remember group stage shootouts more than some open play moments. Fun as a thought experiment, but I'm glad we got back to 4-team groups with those synchronized finales.
Same. And I'll add the tiebreakers we know, points, goal difference, goals scored, and disciplinary points, feel transparent. It keeps the tournament familiar while still giving us that expanded bracket to discover a surprise quarterfinalist or two. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Stay curious and keep exploring. See you next time on Laid Back Learning.